Right now, while you are watching this, your leopard gecko may already know things about their environment that you have absolutely no way of detecting. Not because they are magical, because their body is built with sensory technology so advanced that human biology cannot even compete. They can sense vibrations through solid ground that your feet cannot feel. They can see color in near total darkness. They can smell you before they even open their eyes. And in some cases, their body may be reacting to changes in the air itself, hours before a storm even arrives. Today, we are exposing the secret sensory superpowers hiding inside your leopard gecko, the ones most owners never learn about, and what they reveal about how your gecko actually experiences the world around them. Welcome back to the Reptile Lab. Most owners assume their leopard gecko is a simple, quiet little lizard sitting in a tank, doing very little, sensing very little. That assumption could not be more wrong. Underneath that calm, still exterior is one of the most finely tuned sensory systems in the reptile world. Built through millions of years of nocturnal survival in complete darkness, today we are decoding exactly how your leopard gecko sees, hears, smells, feels, and senses the world, and why understanding these hidden superpowers will completely change the way you interact with them. Superpower 1. Vision, built for total darkness. Here is something that surprises almost every new owner. Leopard geckos are nocturnal, which means their eyes evolved specifically to function in near total darkness, and the biology behind that is genuinely remarkable. Their retinas are packed with an extraordinarily high density of rod cells, the photoreceptors responsible for detecting light in low light conditions. In fact, research suggests nocturnal geckos can see roughly 100 times better in dim light than humans can. When your leopard gecko is exploring their enclosure at 2 in the morning while you are fast asleep, they are not stumbling around blindly. They are moving through a world that, to them, looks clear and detailed, while to you, standing in the same room, it would look pitch black. Superpowered. Hoop. Color vision in the dark. This next fact tends to genuinely shock people. Most animals, including humans, lose the ability to perceive color once light levels drop low enough. Our color-detecting cone cells simply cannot function without sufficient light, but leopard geckos may be capable of something almost unheard of in the animal kingdom, distinguishing color even in extremely dim, moonlight-level conditions. Some researchers studying nocturnal gecko vision have found that certain gecko species retain functional color discrimination at light levels where human color vision completely shuts down. If this applies to your leopard gecko, it means they may be identifying the color of a cricket, a mealworm, or even a specific hide at a light level where you would only see gray shapes and shadows. Their world at night may be far more vivid than yours ever could be. Superpower 3. No eyelids, and a built-in windshield wiper. If you have ever watched your leopard gecko lick their own eyeball, do not worry. Nothing is wrong. Leopard geckos do not have movable eyelids the way most lizards do. Instead, their eyes are protected by a transparent, fixed membrane called a spectacle. Because that spectacle cannot blink to clear away dust or debris, your leopard gecko uses their tongue to physically lick it clean, keeping the surface clear and moist. This means every single time your gecko licks their eye, they are performing essential eye maintenance using the same tool they use to taste and smell the world. It looks strange. It is actually a brilliant biological workaround for an animal that traded blinking eyelids for permanent, always open night vision. Superpower 4. Hearing that detects what you cannot look closely at the sides of your leopard gecko's head, and you will notice small, visible ear openings, unusual for most lizard species. Leopard geckos have genuinely functional hearing, and it plays a critical role in their survival. In the wild, sound is often the very first warning sign of an approaching predator moving through rocky terrain long before it becomes visible. Some research on gecko hearing indicates they are particularly sensitive to certain frequency ranges associated with rustling movement and low-frequency vibration, exactly the kind of sound a predator or prey animal would produce while moving nearby. So when your leopard gecko suddenly freezes and turns their head toward a specific direction in the room, they may be reacting to a sound completely inaudible to you. Superpower 5. Feeling vibrations through the ground. Here is a superpower that genuinely unsettles people once they understand it. Leopard geckos, like many lizards, are highly sensitive to vibrations transmitted through solid surfaces. Their jawbone and inner ear structures can detect subtle vibrations traveling through the substrate itself, essentially allowing them to feel footsteps, movement, or impact before they ever hear or see the source. This is why a leopard gecko can seem to instantly know the moment you walk into a room. Even before you have said a word or turned on a light, your footsteps on the floor are transmitting vibration data straight into their sensory system. To them, the ground itself functions almost like an early warning system. Superpowers 6. The tongue that tastes the air. Watch your leopard gecko flick their tongue against the substrate, the glass, or even your skin, and you are watching one of the most sophisticated chemical detection systems in the reptile world at work. Like many lizards, leopard geckos possess a vomeronasal organ, sometimes called Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of their mouth. When they flick their tongue, they are collecting microscopic chemical particles from the air and surfaces around them and delivering that sample directly to this organ for analysis. This is not simple taste. This is closer to smelling and tasting simultaneously, at a molecular level far more detailed than the human nose could ever achieve. Every lick is your leopard gecko building a real-time chemical map of exactly what has been in their environment, including you. Superpower 7. Smelling you before they see you. This is where things get genuinely fascinating and a little humbling. Because their chemosensory system is so advanced, your leopard gecko may be identifying you by scent before they ever visually register your presence. Every time you handle your gecko, feed them, or clean their enclosure, you leave behind a unique chemical signature. Over time, a leopard gecko builds a detailed scent profile of their regular keeper, which is part of the reason they often react calmly to familiar hands but display more defensive behavior toward unfamiliar scents, including hands that recently touched other animals, cleaning products, or different food items. If you have ever wondered why your gecko seems suspicious of you right after you handled another pet, this chemical detection system is almost always the reason. Superpower 8. Sensing temperature. With remarkable precision, leopard geckos are ectothermic, meaning their entire body relies on external heat sources to regulate internal temperature, and their thermoreceptive sensitivity is extraordinarily precise. Specialized nerve endings across their skin allow them to detect extremely subtle temperature gradients, which is exactly how they navigate their enclosure to find the perfect microclimate throughout the day. This is why you will often see your gecko moving between a warm hide and a cool hide multiple times, seemingly making tiny, deliberate adjustments. They are not wandering aimlessly. They are running a constant thermal survey of their environment, fine-tuning their body temperature down to a level of precision most owners never fully appreciate. Superpower 9. Detecting pressure changes before a storm. This next superpower tends to fascinate and slightly unnerve people at the same time. Many reptile keepers report noticeable behavioral shifts in their leopard geckos' hours before a storm arrives, changes in activity level, appetite, or hiding behavior that consistently precede a drop in barometric pressure. While formal scientific research specifically on leopard geckos and barometric sensitivity is still limited, this pattern has been anecdotally observed across many reptile species and is biologically plausible, given how sensitive reptiles are to environmental shifts overall. If your leopard gecko suddenly becomes unusually restless or withdrawn for no apparent reason, it may be worth checking the weather forecast, because your gecko's body may be responding to atmospheric changes long before any visible sign appears in your home. Superpower 10. A memory sharper than you would expect. Most owners underestimate how much their leopard gecko actually remembers. Studies on lizard cognition, including work on related gecko species, have demonstrated that reptiles are capable of spatial memory, meaning they can recall the layout of their environment, the location of food sources, favorite hiding spots, and even navigate mazes based on memorized routes. This means your leopard gecko is not simply reacting moment to moment inside their enclosure. They are building and storing a mental map, remembering exactly where their favorite hide is, where the water dish sits, and quite likely, remembering you as a consistent, recognizable presence tied to specific outcomes like feeding time or gentle handling. Superpower 11. Reading vibrations from your voice. Here is one final superpower that connects everything we have covered so far. While leopard geckos do not have external ears the way mammals do, the combination of their vibration sensitivity and functional hearing means they may actually be capable of detecting certain low-frequency vibrations from your voice, particularly deeper tones traveling through solid surfaces like a table or shelf near their enclosure. Some keepers report their geckos responding more calmly to consistent, low, quiet vocal tones compared to sudden loud noises, which aligns with what we know about their sensitivity to vibration and their preference for a predictable, low-stimulation environment. This does not mean your leopard gecko understands your words. It means their entire sensory system is built to notice patterns, and calm, steady voice becomes one more predictable signal that tells them their environment is safe. Once you understand everything your leopard gecko can sense, hear, smell, feel, and remember, it becomes impossible to see them as a simple, low-maintenance pet sitting quietly in a tank. Every flick of their tongue, every subtle head turn, every retreat to a slightly warmer hide is data collection happening in real time, powered by a sensory system that in several ways outperforms our own. Understanding these hidden superpowers is not just fascinating trivia. It changes how you approach handling, how you interpret their behavior, and how deeply you can bond with an animal capable of noticing far more about you than you ever realized. Keep watching closely, keep learning, be patient, have courage, and be kind.